I feel like stress comes at all different times of the day. It does not choose when it's going to come. So I tend to have techniques that I apply at different times through the day to help me manage my stress.
Having that flexibility to work from home, I think it's sometimes really hard to set boundaries between work and personal life. So sometimes I just like to step away from my screen, whether that be during my lunchtime or having tea breaks, just to sort of bring myself back to what's really important sometimes.
If I find myself overwhelmed throughout the day, I'll ensure that I've got something towards the end of the day to look forward to, whether that's seeing friends, going to the gym, or just doing a hobby, but ensuring that I have something at the end that kind of gets me through.
When personally I stress about something, in that moment that problem I'm stressing about is the biggest thing. And what really helps me to try to stress less is to think about the bigger picture.
Journaling is a really important thing for me to do at the end of a day. What I tend to focus on personally is what's went well, what didn't go so well, any ideas that have come to me, and something that I'm really grateful for. And I find that that really helps me to have a brief reflection on the day and not to hold it within myself, but to put it onto some paper.
If something's weighing on my mind at work, especially when I'm working on something by myself, it's quite easy to, if something goes wrong, catastrophize the situation. But usually just talking to someone about it, a colleague or a manager, and just getting a bit of advice from them is normally the best way for me to get a sense of perspective on the issue and find a way out of it. Now, it's obviously going to be a bit more tricky when you're self-employed because you are working by yourself all the time, but that's why it's so important to get involved with networking opportunities, community groups for the self-employed, and obviously organisations like IPSE provide a lot of that.
And as someone as an overthinker, sometimes just taking a walk really helps. And I started getting into running this year, and that has been really helpful to sort of not think about anything but my own breathing, and just, yeah, that's been really good in terms of de-stressing.
And in the short term, depending on the way you work, maybe listening to some music or some background noise or even rainforest sounds, just something that will immediately alleviate stress.